Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Minahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com. Hey folks, my name is Nick, this is Board Game Brawl, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Clash of the Cards. Now, if you are interested in the Kickstarter after you watch the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to their official Kickstarter page. There's going to be a link up in the top corner of your screen, and also down in the description section underneath this video. You can follow that link, go to the official Kickstarter project page, find out more information than I could possibly tell you here, and hopefully you'll consider backing the project. Now, what is Clash of Cards? This is a competitive game for 2 to 6 players, and it's a set collection card game. You have a bunch of cards in your hand depicting different types of warriors, numbered from 1 to 10, but also wild cards as well. And you're trying to get armies of these cards, sets, numbered sets of at least 4 of each of these cards. And as soon as you get 2 of them, you end the rounds, and then you earn points, and the first person to get to 1,000 points is going to be the winner of the game. Of course, it's not quite that simple. In order to get army cards, you're going to have to battle the other players. You're also going to have to make strategic use of some of the special cards in your hand, which give you special powers, and also hope to get bonus cards as well. We're going to cover all of that, so let me go ahead and give you a brief look at how the game is played with a prototype version of the game. So what you see here may change in the final version, just make a note of that. Then we're going to come back, I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of Clash of the Cards. It's a competitive game for 2 to 6 players. The goal of the game is to be the first player to get to 1,000 points. Now, the game is going to be played over a series of hands. Every time that one player completes 2 armies, barring any kind of special conditions, 2 armies consisting of 2 sets of 4 numbered and colored character/champion cards, if you're able to do that, you are going to end that hand, and then everyone is going to score points, and if you're the person who actually ends the hand, you get some bonus points as well. We're going to cover all of that, but the end result is that after you score each of these different hands, as soon as someone gets to 1,000 points, that's going to trigger the end of the game, and whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. So you're going to have the main deck of cards. You'll separate the quick start and scoring cards from there. They're double-sided. I just have 2 of them out here on each side, but players are each going to get 1 of these cards, just a little cheat sheet for them. And then you're going to shuffle up the rest of the deck and deal 8 cards out to everyone. Now, it's possible that in that opening hand, you're going to get these bonus cards, and the bonus cards are going to give you extra points at the end of the hand if you have them in front of you. And the reason why it says +1 card on there is because as soon as you get a bonus card, you throw it down in front of you, and other players might be able to steal it, but in exchange for putting this card down, you immediately draw another card to replace it. In fact, the golden rule of this game is that if you are ever at less than 8 cards, no matter whose turn it is, you immediately draw back up to 8 cards. Now, let me go through the different cards that are in Clash of the Cards, just to give you a taste of what those are like. Excuse me. Alright, so first off, you have the numbered and colored cards, which are also called the character, or more specifically, the champion cards. So these come in denominations from 1 all the way up to 10, and there are 6 of each card in the deck. In order to build an army, one of the 2 armies that you need in order to end the hand and gain as many points as you possibly can, you need to collect 4 of these, although you'll get a bonus if you can collect all 6. So you have the lowly villager. And the important thing to note here is that there are these little pips underneath the numbers on each side of the card. So even though this card is technically a strength of 1, when 2 players play the same champion, then you have to compare their pips, their actual strength. So each of those cards from 1 to 6 has a different pip from 1 to 6. So the higher pip is going to break the tie in that regard. You have the woodsman, the number 2 card, the archer, the soldier, the knight, the wizard, the general, the Viking, the dragon, and the dragon slayer. You also have the wild card, which can take the place of any of the other champions and actually trumps any of the other champions and has its own set of pips as well. Then you start getting into the special cards. The castle here can be played as a champion. We're going to explain all of that about playing the champion cards in a moment. I just want to show you all the cards first. So the castle cards can take the place of a champion that you play, and when cards are revealed, any cards that would be at risk are returned back to your hand, and then this is discarded, so that can protect your cards. The grave digger lets you steal a numbered card from the discard pile. The spy has 2 special abilities. He can either be used as any card if you want to initiate a battle. You would normally have to use a numbered and colored card, but in this case you can use the spy as any of them. Or you can join any battle. So if someone else has initiated a battle and you don't have the right card, you can use the spy to jump in. The thief card lets you steal one of those bonus cards from out in front of someone, or you can steal a card from any player's hand, and then you just discard it after use. The death card is very, very bad. If you get stuck with the death card, you have to put it down in front of you. And not only do you take negative 150 points, but now you need 3 sets in order to be the one that ends the hand. There's only 1 chest card in the deck, but it's a great one because you can play it as your action for the turn to protect a complete set of your army. So if you've completed an entire army, you can throw the chest down on it, and that's going to protect it for the rest of the hand. And then, of course, I've already shown you the bonus card, but there it is again. Alright, so how does the actual gameplay of Clash of the Cards works? So you're going to determine who's going to go first, and on your turn, you have 1 action to take, and you have 3 different options of what you can do. First off, remember, like I said, you start off with a hand of 8 cards. First, you can just draw 2 cards from the deck as your action. There's no limit to the number of cards you can have in hand, so you can stockpile in order to hopefully have better chances of getting different sets as the game progresses, rather than just attacking right away. But remember, if you ever get down below 8 cards, you redraw up to 8 anyways. Another thing you can do is play any scavenger or safety cards. So you can play that treasure chest card that I mentioned before, or cards like the grave digger, in order to get a card that you really need at the right time. And then finally, the main crux of the game is that you can start a battle and try to steal cards from the other players. And how you're going to do that is you're going to go into your hand and you're going to take a champion of your choice. So let's say, all right, I've got 2 3s, which means I have a reasonable shot at trying to get a set of 4 here. So I'm going to say, all right, I'm attacking the other player, so I'm going to throw an archer down. That is the start of the prize pile. So now the other players, if they have the 3s in their hands, they're going to have to put down the 3s into the prize pile as well. So by coincidence, I didn't really plan it this way, that player does happen to have a 3, and this other player does not. However, well, we're skipping ahead just a little bit, but now any player who did throw a card, the initiating player and any other player who did throw a card of the appropriate type down into the pile is going to play another one of their champion cards face down. Once all players have played a card face down, then they're going to be revealed. Your goal here is to have the higher numbered card. Whoever has the highest numbered champion is going to win the hand. And again, ties, if players play the same card, are going to be broken by those pips on the card. Whoever has the most pips representing strength. So let's say that I throw down this card, which is actually the 8 card, but my opponents don't know that quite yet. And then this player says, well, I'm going to one-up that, and I'm actually going to put my wild card down. Yeah, see? And then this other player actually can't join in because he didn't throw anyone in normally, but he does have the spy, so he can join in on the battle. Or, I'm sorry, let me clarify. I got a little bit confused. What he can do is play the spy down into the pile of the initiating card, just like so. It's like, say, have this count as one of the archers, although then it's going to get discarded after use, but now he can place another card down just like the other players, and he actually has a Dragon Slayer, so he'll place a card down just to see how this will all suss out. But, of course, in the end, after every player has played a card, everyone's going to flip over, and because a wild beats the Dragon Slayer, which would be the next one in line, which in turn beats the Viking, which is actually 2 below it, this player is going to take the whole shebang. So the champion cards that were used are going to get discarded, including that wild. And now this player is going to take those 2 archer cards, which puts that player closer to making her set of cards. And this is how the game is going to be progressing. You're going to draw cards from the deck and try to get your different sets of armies when necessary, and often you're going to try instead to steal cards from the other players in order to complete your armies and then get the most points as possible. Now, the way the points work, first off, again, you get the 50 bonus points at the end if you're the one who initiated the end of the hand. In other words, you're the one who played the second or potentially the third, if you have the death card, army that ends the hand. You get an additional 50 bonus points. And then for each of the armies that you have, assuming you actually have an army, if you're the one that didn't initiate the end, it's possible you have 1 or 0 armies. You'll look at this chart and see how many points you get. So the purple army, which are the higher numbered cards, are actually going to earn you the least amount of points. You only get 100 points for that army set. But the wilds actually get you 500, whereas the orange gets you 500 as well. Or I'm sorry, 300. So you have these different types of amounts depending on the type of card. Also, if you get a full army, which is all 6 cards of a type, you get an additional bonus 50 points. And of course, if you ended the hand with the death card, you get negative 150 points. Now, after you do all of this scoring, if any player has reached 1,000 points, they're going to be the winner unless more than one player has reached 1,000 points, at which points whoever has the most points is going to be the winner of the game. If no one has met that threshold, you do it all over again. You reset all the hands and you play another hand of Clash of the Cards. But that is Clash of the Cards. Let's get to my final thoughts. Right off the bat, the thing you need to note about Clash of the Cards is how easy and accessible it is. It's very quick to get up and running. You can have the rules learned in about 5 minutes. Of course, the game is more nuanced than that, and to actually master the game, to get better at it over time, is going to take time. But just to get it up and running is very quick. It's going to be a good game for people of all ages because it has that lower level of entry. But once you get in there, then you start finding interesting strategies that belie its easy learning curve. So, for instance, the whole idea of set collection, that's something that you see quite a lot. But how you do it here and how you battle the other players for the prize pile of cards is very interesting because it's not just enough for you to say, all right, well, I'm going to put out this card and then everyone put in cards and then I'm going to play the best card that I possibly can and try to take it, because first off, there's a lot of that card floating around, and you have to hope that you actually have, let's say that you play a 10, and it's like, oh, okay, great, I'm going to win, but what if someone else plays the wild, or what if someone else plays a 10 that has a higher strength rating on it? Well, then what are you going to do? And not only that, but whatever card that you use as your champion to try and take that prize pile, it's gone. It goes into the discard pile. So now you are blocking yourself out from potentially having that set. And because of the changing nature of the game, you may not want to do that. You have to have some forward thinking and decide, well, I'm obviously going for this set that I put into the prize pile, play a card down, have everyone siphon out cards, but is it worth it for me to lose this champion? And what if nobody had any more of that card that you were looking for in the first place? That's going to be a problem for you. So I think that there's some interesting decision making here as to and hand management decisions as to how you should play your cards, when you should play your cards, when you should decide to surrender and not battle at all. Of course, you throw into the mix the special power cards and how you can selectively use those. The spy is very interesting because that can get you into a battle that you would normally not take part in. The death card is definitely a detriment to you, and you don't want to get stuck with that. But you might also get not stuck, but have the benefit of the safety card, the treasure chest, to lock down one of your armies, which can be a great boon. But ultimately, it's all about those points. You may lose one hand, but that's just losing a battle. You may still win the war, in which case you really need to be cognizant of how you're gaining your points. You want to try to get a complete set if you possibly can. You want to try to fish for those bonus cards as much as possible by just taking the draw action from the deck, because there's no hand limit anyways. That's the thing too, is that the game stays very active because you always have to have at least 8 cards in hand at any given time. So you're always going through the deck. Even if you have a bum hand for whatever reason at one particular point, just play your cards, siphon them out whenever someone challenges you to a battle, and then you get to draw more cards anyway. So it's constantly flowing, constantly moving, and again, a very easy and accessible game. People who like traditional card games, people who like card games that are a bit more complex and strategic, and younger gamers, older gamers, people who casual gamers who would not normally play heavier strategic games are going to find something of interest here. It's definitely a gateway card game for those purposes. And if you fall into any of those categories, or you know someone who does, definitely go to the official Kickstarter project page follow the link in the top corner of the screen or down in the description section underneath the video. That'll take you to the page, find out more about it, and hopefully consider backing Clash of the Cards. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.